Don't speak too soon. Marcus Lee, a 38-year-old public relations manager at a tech company. Marcus Lee had always believed in standing up for what was right. Speak the truth, even if your voice shakes. That was the motto hanging above his childhood bed. But after a decade working in corporate America, Marcus had come to realize that life wasn't as black and white as motivational posters claimed. At a team meeting one Monday, Marcus watched their director harshly criticize a new intern, Maya, for botching a product announcement email. Fueled by what he saw as injustice, Marcus cut in. "I don't think that was necessary. Everyone makes mistakes. She's still learning." The room went quiet. His director said nothing and simply continued. Maya looked down, said thank you under her breath, and didn't meet Marcus's eyes again. Later that week, Marcus found out the full story. Maya had ignored 3 rounds of editing instructions, sent out a draft with outdated specs, and nearly triggered a PR crisis. The director had taken heat from the C-suite, but chose not to escalate Maya's error, protecting her future. Marcus's intervention hadn't helped. It had made things worse. He remembered something his grandfather once said, a Chinese saying he had dismissed in his youth. "When you see the world, don't speak of it. When the world asks, say you don't know. Mind your own affairs. Go home early if nothing's urgent." It had always sounded cowardly, but now he was starting to understand. Life wasn't a clean movie script with heroes and villains. It was 1,000 tangled threads. You rarely knew the whole story. The timing trap. Alina Cruz, 29, a project lead at a sustainability firm. Alina was brilliant and outspoken. When she believed something was inefficient or flawed, she didn't hesitate to speak up. "Honesty is the fastest path to progress," she often said. At a company retreat, she proposed shifting funding from the company's long-term carbon offset plan to immediate local partnerships. Her idea was logical, forward-thinking, and completely ignored. Weeks later, her suggestion resurfaced under someone else's name, and this time it was praised and adopted. A mentor later pulled her aside. "Alina," he said, "you were ahead of the curve, but the moment wasn't right. You spoke when people were focused elsewhere. Timing isn't just a detail, it's everything." It reminded her of a phrase she'd once brushed off: "The hidden dragon doesn't act." Even the strongest ideas must wait for the right conditions to take flight. True wisdom, she realized, wasn't in blurting out truth but in knowing when to speak. Observing quietly, understanding context, and preserving energy for the right moment. These were the traits of those who influenced without drawing a sword.
Jordan Patel, 41, government analyst.
At the water cooler, a coworker asked Jordan, "So, what do you think of the new federal education plan?" Jordan paused. He did have an opinion. It was layered, cautious, and not easily packaged into a soundbite. But he sensed something behind the question, a tone, an edge. "I'm not sure," Jordan said. "I've been knee-deep in budget reports, haven't really had time to dig into the details." The coworker shrugged and moved on. That afternoon, another colleague was reprimanded for openly criticizing the very same plan. Jordan understood then that "I don't know" was more than a cop-out. It was a shield. People often weaponize your words. Saying too much, even something seemingly neutral, can alienate both camps. Saying "I don't know" disarms others, buys time, and reveals nothing. Later, when he asked that same coworker, "What do you think?" the tables turned. The coworker revealed his leanings, his alliances. In that moment, Jordan wasn't dodging, he was dancing, and it was graceful. The danger of helping unasked. Naomi Kim, 45, middle school teacher. Naomi saw herself as a helper. She had a habit of stepping into other people's messes with the best of intentions. When her neighbor's teenage daughter ran away for a night, Naomi rushed to offer advice. "She needs stricter boundaries," she told the father. "Letting her off easy sends the wrong message." The next week, that same neighbor avoided her. Word had spread that Naomi was blaming the parents. Her concern was recast as criticism. She thought of her own students. Now sometimes, in trying to stop a child from stumbling, she robbed them of the chance to learn. Like holding on to a toddler so tightly they never learned to walk. Naomi learned that unsolicited help can look like intrusion, that helping is noble when asked. Otherwise, it becomes meddling, robbing others of growth. She resolved to reserve her strength for her own students, her own family, and to step in only when invited. The discipline of going home. Derek Miles, 52, small business owner. Derek used to think networking was everything. Late nights, endless drinks, constant small talk. That was the game. But over time, his health declined, his family grew distant, and those connections vanished when he needed help. One night, after another exhausting dinner event, he arrived home to find his daughter already asleep, and he couldn't remember the last time they'd had a real conversation. That was his wake-up call. He started going home early, not just physically, but mentally. Dinner with his wife, stories with his daughter, an hour to read, half an hour to think. He realized that power comes not from being everywhere, but from being centered. His wisdom, his energy, his focus, they were sharper when preserved. Those who mattered noticed. His staff respected his discipline. His family bloomed. Go home early when there's nothing to do. What once sounded lazy now felt like the ultimate form of control. Blending in, shining within. Sophia Reyes, 35, UX designer. Sophia used to envy the loud ones, those who voiced every opinion, commented on every issue, and always had something to say. She tried being that person for a while, but the fallout? Drained relationships, burnt bridges, and emotional fatigue. She learned the hard way. People don't forget careless words. Those she tried to help often resented her. Those she impressed turned suspicious. She began to shift. Quiet listening, selective speaking, helping only when needed. The results were astonishing. Fewer conflicts, deeper connections, more energy. The wisdom of her ancestors echoed. Live in the city with light in your heart. Shine inside, not outside. Be unseen, but not dull. Speak rarely, but with power. Sophia's life became calmer, more deliberate. Her thoughts more precise. She hadn't given up her light. She'd simply learned to let it glow, not blind. In today's fast-paced, opinion-driven world, especially online, where everyone is eager to comment, debate, and call out, the quiet wisdom in these stories is more relevant than ever. Just like Marcus, Alina, Jordan, and the others learned, reacting impulsively, giving unsolicited advice, or speaking without full understanding often backfires. Modern life rewards visibility, but not always substance. The real power lies in observing carefully, responding with restraint, and preserving your energy for what truly matters: your growth, your family, your health. Before speaking, ask yourself, do I truly understand this? Is this the right time? Will this help or harm? Learn to say, I don't know, when uncertain. It's not weakness, it's protection. Resist the urge to intervene where you're not invited. And most importantly, don't chase meaningless noise. Invest your limited time in becoming valuable, not visible. True influence doesn't shout. It arrives quietly, at the right moment, with undeniable strength.